Robert Downey Jr. was born in Manhattan, New York on April 4, 1965. He was exposed to the entertainment industry at a young age as the son of filmmaker Robert Downey Sr. and actress Elsie and Ford. At the age of 5, RDJ made his film debut in a film directed by his father. His father was renowned for directing avant-garde films, and his mother frequently appeared in his projects. Following in their footsteps, RDJ pursued acting and became one of Hollywood's most acclaimed talents. He attained significant success in blockbuster franchises such as the Iron Man series and Sherlock Holmes, and he was recognized for his roles in Chaplin and Less Than Zero. During a major surge of Jewish immigration to the United States, Gussie Goldberg, the paternal great-grandmother of Robert Downey Jr., arrived in New York. She and her mother, Ida Goldberg, disembarked at Castle Garden, the immigration processing center that existed prior to Ellis Island. The ship's arrival records listed their identities among the new arrivals. The two women relocated to Manhattan's Lower East Side, where they became part of a flourishing community of approximately 135,000 Eastern European Jews who had already established themselves. Jonathan Sarna, a Jewish history specialist at Brandeis University, was consulted in order to gain a more comprehensive understanding of the experiences that Ida and Gussie would have encountered in their new community. We uncovered a record for Ida Goldberg, Gussie's mother, an ancestor that neither Robert Downey Jr. nor his father was aware of. This straightforward document functioned as an introduction to a long-lost family member for them. Ida Goldberg passed away on May 18, 1893, as indicated by the certificate. She was born in Russia. In 1901, the average life expectancy for a woman in New York was a mere 45 years. Although Ida's mortality may appear premature in the context of contemporary society, it was a common occurrence during that time. A 19th century term for tuberculosis, a disease that claimed many lives during that era, was the recorded cause of mortality. Hundreds of thousands of Europeans who were fleeing plague, war, and religious persecution were granted asylum in the United States. Numerous individuals, including Ida and Gussie, endeavored to improve their lives by evading destitution and adversity. Robert challenged us to investigate his family's history, and we discovered Ruelf Gut, who was born in Switzerland during the Middle Ages, as one of his earliest known ancestors. Ruelf, in contrast to Maggie's noble forebears, was a peasant who perished and likely did not leave a significant written record. It was an uncommon and fortunate occurrence to locate any indication of him. However, this was an exceptional instance. Ruelf Gut resided in Switzerland, which initiated the preservation of church records prior to the majority of other European nations. As a result, the paper trace regarding Ruelf's lineage persisted. In the early 18th century, 7 generations later, a significant number of his descendants had relocated to what is now Germany. However, they would not remain there for an extended period. The ancestors of Robert Downey Jr., like thousands of others in the early 1700s, escaped a region that was in turmoil. The 30 Years' War, one of the most destructive and protracted conflicts in modern history, left a significant portion of Germany in ruins. The initial conflict between Catholics and Protestants had resulted in the dissolution of entire communities, which had been replaced by lawlessness. Protestants were subjected to persecution in regions where Catholics maintained authority. Robert's Protestant ancestors were a part of a mass exodus as entire communities abandoned the German states in pursuit of a better future elsewhere, seeking safety and a new beginning. William Penn, the colony's originator, contributed significantly to Pennsylvania's development as a religious and economic sanctuary through the distribution of promotional pamphlets. His writings, which promised freedom and opportunity, attracted a large number of individuals who were seeking refuge from persecution and hardship. The Daughters of the American Revolution, DR, is one method of verifying a family's profound American heritage. This organization necessitates verification of direct descent from an individual who participated in the Revolutionary War. Robert Downey Jr.'s fifth great-grandfather is Tobias Schucker. Tobias joined the militia of Berks County, Pennsylvania, in 1780 as a private, the lowest military rank. At that time, Pennsylvania was inhabited by subsistence farmers who produced only enough to provide for their families. However, the state underwent a significant transformation into an agricultural superpower following the Revolutionary War. In the 1800s, Pennsylvania was the leading producer of wheat in the United States, garnering the moniker breadbasket. Tobias' fortunes were also altered by this economic growth, which initiated a new chapter for his family. Tobias Shucker had evolved from a landless young man to the proud proprietor of 100 acres by the time of his death, a testament to the American success story that endures. However, he was unable to completely relinquish his German heritage, despite his accomplishments in this new land. Tobias, who was born, raised, and prosperous in the United States, served his country in the Revolutionary War. However, it is likely that he grew up in a household that spoke and read German, and he ultimately recorded his final words in the same language. As generations of immigrants constructed communities that reflected both their origins and their future, this equilibrium between preserving cultural identity and embracing a new homeland became a defining characteristic of American life. Robert Downey Jr.'s father, who was half Jewish, is the source of the fraction of his DNA that is associated with Jewish ancestry. Researchers traversed Russia, Europe, and the eastern seaboard in their pursuit of Robert Downey Jr. ancestral origins. However, the voyage repeatedly returned to New York City, a city where countless immigrants have become American. A century ago, the newcomers were individuals such as Robert's progenitors, who were Jewish immigrants from Russia, and they resided alongside Irish and Italian families. People from Latin America, Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean are present on the city's streets today, each contributing their own traditions and narratives. The United States continues to accept approximately 1 million legal immigrants each year, a figure that is comparable to that of 1906. These individuals contribute to the ever-changing definition of what it means to be American with each arrival.